Alrighty, so here's my personal experience with alopecia areata. And the place that I have the alopecia at is in my beard. So you may not notice it right now, but when I lift my head like this, and I show you that area there, hopefully you guys can see that in the camera. You can see where I have that alopecia at. So let's get into how I discovered that area was there and what I did after I found out what was going on there. So first and foremost, this started about a few months ago. Okay, so how it began for me is I began to get itchy in this area. I don't know what, I'm just thinking it was a regular itch, but then I began to notice it was like persistent. I'm like, hey, why is it so itchy down here? And it only persisted for like a day or two. I didn't really think anything of it. You know, I'm just thinking, okay, I'm just more itchy than usual. You know, sometimes you scratch your beard a little bit. You know, we all have this little common itch, you know. But it persisted for about a day or two. I didn't really think anything was abnormal about it or alarming about it. So what ended up happening was, I want to say on like the third day of the itchiness, I'm just scratching and I noticed like, oh, it kind of hurts a little bit. You know, it kind of felt like I was scratching my skin under there or something. And usually that never happens. So I became curious, and what I did was I went to the bathroom, just like I'm now, and I took a look in the mirror. I went like this, and I said, whoa. I say, man, what in the world? Like, where did that come from? You know, it was a little scabby too, you know, from me scratching it, you know, it had like a slight little scab on it. And I didn't know what to think. I'm like, what is going on? You know, so I'm thinking like, okay, what is this about? You know, so now I cut my own hair, you know, I cut my own hair, I line my own beard up and things like that. So the very first thing that I was thinking, I was like, okay, did I nick myself in that area? Did I cut that area on accident or something without noticing it? You know, sometimes I cut my hair kind of fast. Maybe I made some type of mistake or something, because it was just so, as you guys can see, the patch was just so clean. It was so smooth. I'm like, did I make a mistake and cut that area? Which I very rarely, I've never made a mistake like that, cutting my own hair. So but again, I was just unfamiliar with what was going on. So I was just thinking about all the possible ways that it became that way. Anyway, so I told my wife about it, and she was surprised too, like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, man, I don't know. So I began to just type things in on Google, like a lot of us do. And I think one of the first things I came across was alopecia. Now, I like to be certain about things. I mean, yeah, I go to Google, I use it just like everybody else, you know, but I don't place my faith in that, of course. But I was curious, so I Googled it, and I kept seeing a lot of things about alopecia, traction alopecia, alopecia areata, which is what they say that which is what the dermatologist says that I have. So fast forward a little bit, I want to say a week or two later, you know, a little bit of procrastinating. I made an appointment with a dermatologist, and I went in there and I let her look at the beard. And one of the things that she asked me was, because I guess she was considering that it was possibly traction alopecia. She was asking me, hey, like, do I pull on my beard a lot? Do I braid my beard and things like that? I'm like, no, like I don't do that. I mean, the closest I come to pulling at it or really putting a lot of stress on it is combing it. But even then, I try to wet it up a little bit, you know, that whole spiel. But anyway, so I told her like, yeah, I don't do anything like that. So she looked at it a little bit further. And what she told me was that it was alopecia areata. So just going into a little bit more of detail here. When I first noticed the patch was there, and I'm pretty sure maybe you've had this experience too if you're watching this video. I'm assuming that's probably why you're watching it, just to kind of see what other people have been through. So in my experience, it was really smooth. I'm talking about butter smooth, like super soft. You know, I never felt my skin under my beard that soft before, you know, but that's because it's just a big old patch right there, you know. And thankfully, I mean, you know, nobody can see the patch. You know, my beard is right here. You know, even when I comb my beard out, even if I, you know, kind of put my head up like that, people are not going to really see it. I mean, the only reason you can see it now is because I'm picking at it and things like that. But anyway, fast forward, like I say, it's been about a few months now. Maybe it's been like 2.5 months. I would say it's been at least 2 months. I would say that. So like I said, when I first discovered it, it was super smooth. But when you look at it now, you may say, okay, it looks pretty smooth. But as you can see, look, see that? It's like little hairs growing in there. And when I pull on those hairs, you can obviously see it, pulling with my skin. Okay. Now, I forgot to mention, when I went to the dermatologist, they did prescribe me some type of topical steroid, which they say that can expedite the process. So I thought about using it. I had to go to the dermatologist before for something and some years ago. And I believe that they prescribed me the same thing, like some type of topical steroid. So I'm not really big on taking chemicals and things like that. I'm not really into that. I don't oppose healthcare and things like that, but some things it's just not for me, but I'm not about to go into detail about that now. But she prescribed me some type of topical steroid. I forget exactly what it was called, but I never picked up the prescription. I thought about it. I'm like, nah, I just rather go the natural route. So she did tell me that it will regrow back, thankfully. On another note, I've been to the dermatologist a few times before in the past. I've really been trying to make a conscious effort of keeping up with my health and just making sure everything is going well with my body. So anyway, I went to the dermatologist some years ago. I had some concerns about the hair on my scalp. I was thinning right here, in this front area and in the crown area. I didn't know what was going on. And I'm like, will my hair ever grow back? You become conscious about it. You become a little worried about it. Like, hey, what's going on? I want my hair back. Not to get too far off topic, but but it's kind of aligns with what I'm saying here. But I had some concerns back then, and I just wanted to be certain, like, okay, what's going on here? So I went to the dermatologist. They did some tests, whatever. Male pattern baldness. Basically, I'm bald now. So it helped knowing that, because I was curious, like, hey, what's going on? Why is my hair thinning? When stuff happens like that and you're not familiar with it, because of course you've never lived it, right? It's your first time experiencing it. You have all these curiosities, you have all these questions, you have concerns, and things like that. At least for me, I can just speak for myself. But anyway, just like with this alopecia areata, I had a lot of questions. Thankfully, the dermatologist told me that it will grow back, but it'll just take time, and that's why she prescribed me the topical steroid, which would expedite it. So anyway, again, I became curious again. So Googling stuff, and according to Google, they say that a lot of times, alopecia areata, it can be a result of stress. It can be an immune disorder. It can be genetics. Okay, it can be something else. It can be something else going on. So I don't really know what the reason is behind that. It is what it is. Like I say, I try to be a lot more conscious about my health nowadays. So I would say like 2 times a year, I go to the doctor, I get my blood checked out, see what's really going on inside my body. So last time I went, I didn't have any major concerns or anything like that, So anyway, again, getting back to the Google searches that I did, when I Googled it, I know that the dermatologist said it's going to take X amount of time for it to grow back. And again, I just became curious on my own. So I Googled some things, and they say that, Google says that it's common that when you have alopecia areata, that it typically takes between 6 months to 12 months, or maybe even a little longer than that, for your hair to completely grow back in to how it used to be. Okay, so when I was Googling that, I came across information that also says that some people deal with just permanent hair loss. And Of course, I don't have that experience like in my beard area, but and not to really compare the two or say it's the same, I guess, but um, I have that with my head, male pattern baldness, I guess you would say, So, and I know the thoughts that I had that came along with having male pattern baldness. So I can only imagine, what somebody would think, if they have a beard or um, hair somewhere else, and now the hair is just totally gone and it's not going to come back. It makes you think about it. You become conscious about it. Uh, you may become stressed out about it or something like that. I mean, we all have our different emotions and how we react to things. So I know when I started losing my hair, it's like, what's going on? I like to have different hairstyles and things like that. So we all take things differently. We all deal with things differently. But I'm just thankful that the alopecia areata that I'm dealing with is going to eventually grow back to the same thickness that it used to be. So right now, again, not that Google has all the authority, but I'm just, just saying, when I Google these things, a lot of the things that are happening here, I mean, it's like spot on with Google. It's pretty interesting, so I know it was saying on there that when, during those first like 2 to 3 months, you'll notice that the hairs start growing back, which they are right now. They'll start growing back. I'll let you guys see this again. They'll start growing back. They'll be like really fine hairs. And that's the stage that I'm at now. And then eventually it will begin to match the thickness that's around the rest of the patch, So things could always be worse. Not that this is something super duper terrible or something like that. But again, this is just my personal experience. This is how I choose to share it with the world. Hopefully my experience can help somebody in some type of way, or I don't know, encourage somebody or something like that. I don't, hopefully so. Because like I say, I know I have a lot of questions about it. I have a lot of curiosities and things like that. I haven't really looked at a lot of YouTube videos about it. I just Google stuff. Maybe I should look at some YouTube videos, right? So, but yeah, that's my personal experience with alopecia areata. So I'm at about the 2.5 to 3 month mark, somewhere in between there. So I'm looking forward to coming back and updating you guys on the thickness of how this patchy area is starting to grow back. I'm confident that it'll be a little bit more thicker a few months from now, and then a year from now, I'm confident that it'll be back to normal. So I've never dealt with this before ever in my life. I've never had any type of alopecia areata. I've never had that. So this is a shocker to me. Like I say, the closest I've come to that is just I'm bald now. I mean, if you want to look at that as a form of alopecia, I guess, but just wanted to stop by, share my personal experience with you guys. Feel free to chime in with I don't have a lot of answers, but if you have questions, go for it. I'm not a healthcare provider. I'm not super knowledgeable about this or anything like that. As I've stated many times in this video, I'm curious. I'm on Google typing in stuff, so it's a lot that I don't know. It's a lot that I'm not educated with. But the purpose of this video is really not to educate. It's more so just to share my personal experience with alopecia areata. So if you do have questions, hey, feel free to chime in. I may not have an answer though, any suggestions, feel free to chime in. Leave a comment. Feel free to subscribe if you'd like to. Peace out. If you're dealing with alopecia as well, I hope the best for you. I hope that your hair grows back, whether it be on your head or in your beard like mine's, or whatever other form of alopecia that you may be dealing with. Like I say, I'm not super educated on everything about alopecia, but I just want to be, hopefully I'm coming off as respectful, and considerate to everyone else who deals with different forms of alopecia. And like I said, I know people handle things how they handle it. I believe that I handle things pretty well. Some people take things differently, you know. I know it can be a sensitive subject, you know. So just my personal take, just my personal experience. Thank you guys for tuning in. I look forward to making more videos about this in the future, showing you guys how my hair grew back right there. So looking forward to that. Peace out. Have a good one. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.